You grab a cold glass of milk thinking it's good for you, but 20 minutes later, you feel like absolute garbage. It's not in your head. You are drinking the wrong version. Medieval guys knew drinking fresh milk was sketchy, so they fixed it first. We forgot how to do that, and now we pay for it. Here's why your milk is making you lazy. Before we go any further, I want you to test something. Next time you drink a full glass of milk, pay attention to how you feel 20 minutes later. Heavy, foggy, bloated? If that sounds familiar, you're not crazy, and you're definitely not broken. Hit subscribe right now because we're about to separate internet myths from biological reality. And once you see the difference between milk as a drink and milk as a survival tool, you'll never look at your fridge the same way again. Your body hits the brakes the second you drink this. You chug that cold glass thinking you just did your body a massive favor. But 20 minutes later, you're staring at the wall, wondering why your brain just shut off. It feels like someone pulled the plug on your energy, yet you keep blaming your sleep schedule or that second cup of coffee. The real problem isn't the dairy itself, it's the version you are drinking and the dangerous way you are using it. You have been sold a lie that milk is a beverage you should gulp down with every meal. But medieval people treated that white liquid like a biological hazard. They knew something we completely forgot. Fresh milk was unstable, risky, and rare. If you walked into a peasant's hut in 1300 AD, you wouldn't see adults drinking tall glasses of raw milk for dinner. You would see them treating it like a volatile raw material. They understood that drinking it straight was a luxury reserved for babies, or the dying, not fully grown adults trying to work a field. You are treating a complex food like it's water, and your digestion is punishing you for it. But the reason isn't just about refrigeration. It's about a survival rule that kept them alive while we are just making ourselves tired. Medieval peasants never drank milk the way you do. If you offered a medieval farmer a glass of warm, fresh milk, he would probably look at you like you were trying to poison it. Spoilage was the boss fight of their lives, and without a fridge, fresh milk turned into a bacteria bomb within hours. So they didn't drink it, they processed it immediately. The vast majority of dairy consumed back then was turned into cheese, butter, or whey, because those forms could actually survive the week without killing the village. This wasn't just about storage. It changed the entire chemical structure of what they ate. By the time they consumed dairy, it had usually been fermented or separated, which means the sugar load was already broken down. You are drinking liquid lactose like it's a sports drink, while they were eating solid protein that had been pre-digested by bacteria. The superfood wasn't the milk itself. It was the system they used to transform it. You think the debate is about raw versus pasteurized, but the real secret is hiding in the difference between fresh and fermented. The raw milk lie everyone falls for isn't about the milk. You see the influencers online chugging raw milk straight from the jar, swearing it gives them God mode energy and fixes their gut health. It looks convincing until you peel back the layers and realize they are crediting the milk for something the environment is doing. High-quality reviews from Harvard Health stripped away the internet hype and found zero nutritional advantage when you compare raw milk directly to the pasteurized stuff on a chemical level. The farm kit effect is real, but that immune protection comes from breathing barn dust and touching dirt, not just the liquid in the glass. People start drinking raw milk and simultaneously stop eating processed garbage, start lifting weights, and get more sun. Then they point to the milk and say, "This fixed me." It is a classic case of stolen valor. Controlled research shows that when you isolate the milk from the lifestyle, the digestion benefits vanish. You're chasing a hack that doesn't exist because you want to believe there is a secret nutrient the government hid from you. But the reason you feel sluggish isn't because your milk was heated. It's because of a biological reality that no amount of raw dairy can fix. Pasteurization didn't ruin dairy, it just stopped the dying. We talk about heating milk like it was a corporate crime against nature, but we conveniently forget that it was the only thing that stopped mass funerals. Before we figured out how to kill the bugs, raw milk was a literal superhighway for tuberculosis and scarlet fever. Records from New York show that death rates plummeted the moment we started treating milk, proving that the natural way was often a game of Russian roulette. The CDC isn't warning you because they hate flavor. They are warning you because salmonella doesn't care about your farm-to-table aesthetic. Medieval people didn't have pasteurization machines, So they used the original safety hack. They cooked the milk into custards or soured it immediately. They were accidentally pasteurizing or fermenting their dairy to avoid the exact bacterial nightmare we romanticize today. You are mourning the loss of living enzymes, but those enzymes came with a side of potentially fatal infection. The sluggish feeling you get from modern milk isn't because the heat killed the magic. It is because your body is fighting a different battle entirely, and it starts in your stomach. That heavy fog isn't a toxin, it is just your stomach failing. You finish a bowl of cereal and feel like taking a nap, so you start Googling symptoms of leaky gut or dairy allergies. Stop complicating it because the villain is likely the boring biological fact that you stopped making the tool to digest sugar. Lactose intolerance isn't some rare disease. It is the default setting for most adults, causing that bloated, dragged-down feeling that ruins your morning. The gas and fatigue are just your gut fermenting sugar, because you insisted on drinking the one form of dairy you can't handle. You can run a fast ego experiment right now to prove this. Keep your calories the same, but swap the milk for a slice of hard cheddar or a cup of Greek yogurt. If the brain fog vanishes, you know the culprit wasn't some modern toxin or hidden chemical, but the simple lactose your body rejected. The crash is a dosage problem, not a conspiracy. A massive glass of cold liquid sugar hits your system like a sledgehammer, while a fermented solid fuels you like wood in a fire. But wait, what about the people who swear raw milk digests better? Your gut actually hates raw milk just as much as the rest. The internet swore to you that raw milk contains the enzymes needed to digest itself, making it perfect for sensitive stomachs. That sounds logical, but Stanford Medicine ran the tests and found that lactose-intolerant people suffered the exact same misery whether the milk was raw or pasteurized. The gas, the bloating, and the brain fog showed up right on schedule because the enzyme levels in raw milk are too low to matter. The biology remains stubborn regardless of how much you paid for the glass bottle. If someone tells you they feel better on raw milk, they are likely experiencing the placebo effect, or they just drank less of it that day. We want the story to be true because it offers an easy fix, but your stomach acid destroys those helpful enzymes before they can do any work. You are gambling on a solution that failed in the lab every single time. The safety risk stays real, while the digestion benefit turns out to be a ghost, leaving you with the same sluggish feeling. And that brings us to the other fake villain everyone loves to blame. Stop blaming homogenization for problems it didn't cause. Cream doesn't float to the top anymore, and people treat it like evidence of a crime. They scream that smashing fat globules into smaller pieces causes heart disease and leaks into your bloodstream. But the science just shrugs at the panic. Reviews from Cambridge University looked for the smoking gun and found weak, debated evidence that fails to connect homogenization to your lack of energy. We love to find a villain in the factory process because it excuses our own bad habits. The real reason that milk makes you feel heavy isn't the size of the fat particle, it is what you are eating with it. You pair that glass of milk with sugary cereal, a donut, or a massive pasta dinner, and wonder why you want to pass out. The homogenization is innocent, but the insulin spike from the rest of your meal is absolutely wrecking you. You are blaming the mechanical process for a metabolic disaster that you created by treating liquid calories like water. But the biggest difference between you and a medieval peasant isn't the milk, it's the work. You feel sluggish because you don't work like a peasant. Medieval peasants burned thousands of calories hauling wood and plowing fields, so a hit of dairy was instant rocket fuel. You sit in a chair for 8 hours staring at a screen, yet you are fueling your body like you are about to harvest a crop. We stack liquid dairy calories on top of a sedentary lifestyle and refined sugar, creating a digestion load that your body has no idea what to do with. The post-meal slump is just your system shouting that it cannot handle the volume you just dumped into it. Your body handles a fermented yogurt with protein and fat differently than a big cold glass of sugar milk. The sluggishness is a compound hit from a modern lifestyle that forces your digestion to work overtime on fuel it doesn't need. Medieval people optimized dairy for survival and labor. You're using it for comfort and taste. The mismatch between your biology and your activity level is the real reason you feel like crashing, not the cow the milk came from. So, how do you fix it without giving up dairy? There is a way to drink dairy without the brain fog. You can get all the benefits of the medieval superfood without playing roulette with bacteria if you just copy their strategy. The move is simple. Stop drinking fresh liquid and start eating cultured options like kefir, yogurt, or aged cheese. These foods are easier to digest because the bacteria already did the hard work of breaking down the lactose for you. You get the protein and the fat without the sugar crash that ruins your focus. This is how you steal the medieval advantage while keeping modern safety standards. Pasteurization keeps the nutrition intact while crushing the risk, and fermentation solves the digestion problem that makes you feel slow. The CDC warnings about raw milk outbreaks are real, and ignoring them is a gamble with zero payout. Dial in your tolerance like a technician by choosing the format that works. Instead of forcing your body to fight a battle, it already lost. But there is one final rule that makes this whole debate irrelevant. The real superfood hack is ignoring the raw milk hype. Stop fighting the raw versus pasteurized war, because it has nothing to do with why you feel tired. The smartest move is to treat dairy as a tool that needs to be formatted correctly for your gut, whether that means lactose-free options or smaller doses of fermented food. If you prioritize cultured sources and watch the sugar, that white liquid stops acting like a slowdown and starts working like the survival fuel it was always meant to be. The medieval peasants didn't have magic genes or superior cows. They just had a better system for eating their curds and whey. You have the ability to choose the form that fits your day, so stop chugging liquid that fights you and start eating fuel that serves you. The medieval superfood wasn't raw milk. It was the wisdom to know that milk is a starting material, not a finished drink. Change the form, keep the safety, and watch the brain fog disappear for good. If this is waking you up to what is really in your fridge, hit that subscribe button and drop a like right now. The biggest lie about why we heat our milk is coming up next, and trust me, it is way darker than you think.